Well, no mai haere mai, it is my pleasure to bring you the Softball New Zealand presentation of the 2022-2023 Under-17 Girls National Softball Championship here at Hataitai Ballpark in Wellington, where we've got a lovely sunny, if not cool day with that southerly breeze. Diamond 1 action for you right here. We've got Wellington taking on North Harbour. For Ballpark Broadcasting, I'm Gary Rohihi, and it is my very great pleasure to be bringing you this one live. And accompanying me today in the colour commentary seat is none other than softball legend, always welcome, Naomi Shaw. How are you, Naomi? Welcome along.
Kia ora, Gary. Isn't it a beautiful day at the ballpark? And, we're coming out from the commentator's box at the top of Hataitai Ballpark grandstand, and we've got a beautiful view over the two diamonds out to Kilburnie, one of the Wellington suburbs, and out to Cook Strait. Isn't it beautiful?
All the way out to Cook Strait is absolutely fantastic. You get to see the Inter-Islander go past every so often. But we're concentrating on what's in front of us, and we've got Wellington taking on North Harbour. Wellington are out there right now. The game has just gotten underway as we see a little pop fly from Abigail Church. They're comfortably taken by the first baseman out there for the first out here in the first innings. She'll be replaced by Elizabeth Caldwell, number 3. I'll keep going and round out the rest of the order. Number 2, Jamie Hawani will be up next, followed by 29, Paige Pittams, number 27, Teresa Rebeck-Sowie, and then number 5, Lucy Aspinall. Talia Hurley will be followed by Brianne Tahura, and rounding out their order will be Rory Seymour. You see another fly ball. This first inning is getting underway and going fast for 2 outs, comfortably taken at second base. We'll just quickly take you through the defensive order for Wellington. Out at right field, Matilda Spaley, J.L. Tamarama, Chelsea Moananu, and it is the outfield. Nalia Tala Tauli To'ova is the shortstop, Tyler Bull in the hot corner. Second base, Siobhan Bolger. Eva Gibbs is at first base. Tyler Pitakani doing the pitching to Mairangi Waipara, and that's wrapped it up for the top of the first innings. 3 pitches, 3 outs, and you don't see that very often, though.
I was just going to make that comment, Gary. Yeah, 3 pitches for 3 outs. It's pretty economical pitching on behalf of the starting pitcher for Wellington, Tyler Pitakani. She'll be pretty happy with that. Not too much energy expended in the second game of the day, and of course the winner of this particular playoff match plays back to back straight after this game, so they'll be wanting to conserve as much energy as possible. As well as winning the game too as well.
Under-17 girls, they're pretty fit. They can handle
double
headers these days.
Yeah,
it's a fairly common thing in softball, but here we go. It's been a wonderful day of softball here in Wellington. The sun has shone brightly out there, and where you can keep yourself out of that chilly southerly, it is very, very warm. But anyway, we've got the changeover done, and we've got North Harbour coming out to defend Wellington to bat. So we'll quickly run through the Wellington lineup and follow that with the North Harbour defence. So we've got Mairangi Waipara coming out to lead off the batting for Wellington. J.L. Tamarama, Jessica Whiteout, Tyler Pitakani, Siobhan Bolger. She'll be followed by Nalia Tangatauli Tolavaa, Tyler Bull, Chelsea Moananu. Rounding out their order will be Eva Gibbs. For North Harbour at right field, Teresa Rebeck-Sowie, Elizabeth Caldwell, Talia Hurley. The outfielders, Lucy Aspinall at shortstop. The hot corner is Abigail Church. Rory Seymour at second base. Paige Pittams at first base. Pitching out on the hill is Jessica Taylor, and she's pitching to Jamie Hawani behind the dish at catcher for North Harbour. Wellington, I believe, just the one loss in the tournament so far, Naomi?
Yes, against Canterbury earlier in the piece in the tournament, but of course we're now into the playoffs, and these are all games that matter. I've already mentioned that the winner of this game will play the winner of Auckland Counties Manukau, who are currently playing on Diamond 2. So they're all wanting to be getting back into that top 4 echelon. At 5 o'clock, Auckland play Hutt Valley at 5 o'clock. That must be somebody else playing on Diamond 2.
You got counties in Auckland out there.
Oh, sorry. Of course, that was obviously it's Canterbury who are unbeaten in the other section. Canterbury and Hutt Valley is going to be the 5 o'clock game, and the two teams on Diamond 1 and Diamond 2 are wanting to win their games so they can stay in with a chance.
Excellent. And for Wellington, number 27, Mairangi Waipara is up to that.
Young Wairangi's a current member of the New Zealand Junior White Sox squad, and a very strong, athletic catcher and a very good hitter. Great lead-off for Wellington.
Yes, I've seen Wellington play in the earlier game today, and they were comfortable winners over a Gallant County side 9-4. That 5-run win doesn't tell the story of just how good the Counties team were, especially in the last couple of innings.
No, that's right, Gary. It was a very interesting game. There was a lot of action, and Counties Manukau certainly didn't lay down and die at any stage of the game and could have come back if but for a couple of things. But it was great that Wellington finished that game off with a triple, which is not something that you see very often.
That's right. 2 balls and 1 strike on the batter out there. You see that one over the top for 2-2. North Harbour, I'm not quite sure on how their progression has gone. I've seen them play earlier this morning.
Yeah, dare I say it'll be the first game that I've actually seen them play here, but that is a very big hit. Big.
Deep into
nicely
field
covered.
By Mairangi, nicely taken out there by Caldwell in centre field.
I made a lot of commentary earlier today, Gary, about the Wellington win, which we're quite familiar with, living near some. So, once it gets up really high, it's quite difficult because the wind swirls around up there. But young centre fielder there really lined it up well, got underneath it. I thought it was going over the fence, to be honest. But anyway, so that's 1 down for North Harbour. Great start for them.
Up to bat for Wellington, number 17, GL Tamarama. Tamarama out of Porirua, out of the Porirua club. Batted very well in the earlier game this morning. It's nice to see an under-17 girls tournament after a couple of years of absence.
Oh, haven't we missed it, That COVID thing. It's great. Look how many people are at the ballpark. There was a big queue. Oh, there's still a big queue at Mr. Whoopi Truck. Everybody's got their gazebos up. There's a real park-like, a picnic-like atmosphere here. It's fantastic. I've really missed that over the last couple of years.
Yep. 2 balls on 1 strike on Tamarama in this one. Bottom of the first innings, of course. 1 down already on Wellington. Well, of course, we've got a lot of teams at this tournament, and it's nice to see some teams we haven't seen for a little while. I'm talking about the Southerners especially, Southland, Otago and Marlborough.
Oh, look, the fact that they're here is fantastic, but also the challenges that they face to get here, the cost and everything. And I was really interested to hear from a couple of young ladies from the Otago team that they managed to pick up 10 sponsors that assisted them with their team travel arrangements and costs. So that's fantastic.
There's a strikeout by Jessica Taylor for the second out in the innings. Tamarama heads to the dugout. She'll be replaced by Jessica Waido. With 2 down in the innings, the first innings looks like going to wrap up reasonably quickly, unless Waido can help herself to a hit, and she helped herself to a couple of very good hits in the first game earlier this morning.
No, she slammed a triple. It was actually a double, but she didn't stop running. She went right straight past second base, great slide at third base, really aggressive play, and was safe at 3. You don't see that often on a woman's distance fence on a diamond like this.
She turned a double into a triple.
She turned a double into a triple.
When you really go that aggressive, you can get good results. Put the opposition team under pressure.
Yep. Oh, that's nicely hit straight up the middle too.
There we go. Texas Leaguer up the middle, and she gets herself safe at first base. Wellington open their account in this one with a runner on base. That'll bring 2 bats. Number 45, Tyler Pitakani, who is the pitcher for Wellington in this one.
We talked earlier in the game, in the previous game, about how often pitchers seem to feature in the hitting stats and in the hitting lineup as well too. You don't see them tucked away at 7, 8 or 9 down there. They're always featuring at 3 or 4 or 5 or, the hitters that bring runners in. So, yeah, they're pretty versatile athletes, these pitchers. Young Jessica Wido's a pitcher too.
In the grades, the closer to the bench they seem to to approach. But certainly in these age grades, they can definitely be the star with the bat and the ball. As we see, Wido pops one out to shortstop, and that'll get things done for a first innings complete. No score in this one, as everything's gone along pretty fast. We'll be back at the top of the second innings in just a moment with more action from Hataitai Ballpark. Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're in the top of the second innings now. The first innings has gone past in the blink of an eye. We're here at a very sunny Hataitai Ballpark, where we've got Wellington taking on North Harbour. So we see a nice hit out to shortstop, comfortably taken out there, fired across the diamond, too high for first base, but eventually she regathers and takes the first out in the innings, which was, boom, Paige Pittams.
That was well taken in by the first baser, Eva Gibbs. We're actually up to 4 outs, 4 pitches. Yeah, let's see if we can keep that consistency going.
Tyler Pitikani, the pitcher for Wellington. If you didn't see the first innings, only threw 3 pitches. And with 4 outs, she's only, as Naomi said, thrown 4 pitches in the ball game. Make that 5 now. So there's the first pitch she's thrown that hasn't resulted in an out. And there we go, more normalcy begins to resume as we see a foul ball. So for a 1 ball and 1 strike on number 27, Teresa Rebek Sawi. And there's another out from the shortstop. Over to first base for the second out. Number 5, Lucy Aspinall, coming up for North Harbour now. Of course, we've got the 3 teams we haven't seen a lot of in recent years from South Island, but also I see counties Waikato who have started to make regular appearances at national tournaments here as well.
I was actually watching a little bit of the last game between Otago and Waikato, and I was really impressed with the young Waikato team. They ran out the game in a mercy game, but really played well. Good heads-up softball, great aggressive base running, really nice to see.
And there's a foul ball. It eventually goes foul on the attempted bunt.
That could well have curled back in, I reckon, on that one.
Looked like it was going to stop dead right on the
line. Yeah. Be interested to see if it did stop on the line.
See a replay of that out.
That shortstop, yeah.
From shortstop.
And of course, if the ball goes into foul territory and then curls back in, it still remains fair.
That one low on the outside for a ball. Wellington seem to have more than one good pitcher on their roster, and as a lot of these teams have.
That's really important, that associations to nurture and develop more pitchers because it's pretty tough to play a whole tournament on your own or through the whole tournament. Yeah. So I thought Wellington made a really good battery change in the earlier game where Pitakani came out at the right time and Jessica Waido went into pitch, and that's called sharing the load, which was an old softball New Zealand rule from long ago, which was there to encourage coaches to develop more than one player for that very key position of not only pitching but also catching.
Yeah, it was very easy for a lot of years for coaches to just sit on one pitcher throughout a tournament, especially if they had what you might call an ace.
Yes.
And then, of course, like you say, it just ignores the development of other potential pitchers.
But of course, the other thing we've seen just following the Men's World Championship in North Harbour is that every team came with 4 pitchers, didn't they?
Yeah.
You can't sit on a pitcher, an ace pitcher.
Except for Japan, who came with about 8.
And they all look like brothers.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but it's the game's changed, and there wasn't any dominant pitcher anywhere, and that included who would we consider to be aces, you know,
that's
with Falkard for Australia and the Argentina pitcher. None of them dominated.
Well,
so
it's like you say, though. I mean, you talk about development. Yeah. Falkard under an injury cloud at that tournament, and look who ended up doing the job for them.
Absolutely, the 19-year-old kid. Chesapeake, I think his name was.
Beasley, yeah. And there we see Wellington get the job done out there as Aspinall becomes the third out for North Harbour. And Wellington 1-2-3 in 2 innings against North Harbour has cut things out pretty quickly. We'll come back for the second half of the second inning with more action in just a minute.
I didn't know it.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Hataitai Ballpark for the Under-17 National Softball Championship for Girls 2022-23 edition. We've got some graphics for you there. The North Harbour defence. We've got Rebuck, Sammy out at right field, Caldwell and Hurley round out the outfield. Aspinall, Seymour, Church and Pittams are the infield, with Hoani pitching to Jessica Taylor doing the catching behind the hill. The DP in this one for them is number 9, Brianne Turua. There we go, the batting lineup for Wellington. Catcher, Mairangi Waipara, J.L. Tamarama, Jessica Waira, Tyler Pitakani, Siobhan Bolger, Nalia Tangatauli Tolavaa, Tyler Bull, Chelsea Moananu, Eva Gibbs is the 9-hitter, rounding out for Wellington. Well, we've had 1.5 innings of action here so far. It's all been pretty quick with a lot of outs and not much base running. We've got number 16, Siobhan Bolger, up to bat for Wellington right now. And she's the second base for Wellington. And Wellington actually got quite a strong batting lineup.
Yes, they have, and they've already we've already seen that in the earlier game. But yeah, no, they pretty much bat right 1 through to 9, which is going to be useful against a team like North Harbour. Nice out there taken by third base person, and that is young Abigail Church.
Here we go, the first out in the Wellington innings is Bolger, taken out by Church there. We've got Nalia Tangatauli Tolavaa up to bat. For Wellington. Well, the early sign shaping up in this ball game, Naomi, of like it's going to be quite tight.
But it very much has been, and that's going to speed the game along as well too, which is good. Some of the games have dragged out a little bit, especially when we've had multiple base runners, which is always exciting to see. But I do like a good tight game right down to the wire, and I think that's what we're going to be looking at here in front of us.
Well, we were talking before. There's often more for coaches to get out of in a ball game when you have a tight scoreline in terms of what they know about the two teams, their own team in particular, than you do
from
a blowout, a 16-12 game versus a 2-1 game.
Oh, that's it's pretty correct. When we talk about who are the players that can deliver under pressure when it matters the most, and this is what we're going to see here in this game in front of us. Very much like the game just over on Diamond, two counties, Manukau and Auckland. Again, all four teams will need pretty solid performances to go in against Canterbury and Hutt Valley, who are the form teams here at the moment.
Well, the form team's beginning to sort themselves out in this tournament. You might hear in our microphones, but that Southerly's beginning to get up and be really quite strong here in Wellington. Very unusual for Wellington to have a bit of wind, especially up here at Hataitai Ballpark. But
the commentary, Bruce, is a little bit challenging with a Southerly going right through one door and out the other.
Yes, it might be 25 degrees just outside our door, but inside here it's a lot cooler, I can tell you. And the bats. There we go, number 19, Tyler Bull up to bat now for Wellington with Oliver out at first base. And Wellington with one out and a runner on one. Get an early opportunity in this one to move some bodies around the bases. Nice job on the sacrifice bunt. Third base is left open, and Tolivara makes her way all the way from first around to third.
Yeah, beautifully executed sacrifice bunt. That's really nice to see. I think that's been a strength of most teams that I've seen here, actually. They're able to put a good bunt down. But, of course, great base running there from Wellington to see that open base at third and bring them all around into a scoring position.
Well, that comes into bat now, number 31, Chelsea Moananu for Wellington. Sees the first pitch go high over the top for a ball. Wellington now with the first runner in the ball game in a good scoring position. 2 out in this one for them. So Chelsea and Moananu out there with a job to do. And that's moved that runner 60 feet from third base to home. Fouls that one into the front wall of the commentary booth. Goes Moananu. Of course, we've got 3 diamonds in operation here. You've diamond 1 and 2 down here on this level, but way up on the hill behind us, there is a 3rd diamond in operation up inside the cycling track here at Hataitai.
Just looking at that pitch, you might have been a little bit lucky to get away with that one. I may have thought it was quite close to the zone. Anyway, counts at 2 and 2.
2 and 2. Doing a nice job of keeping the Wellington line-up quiet so far as Jessica Taylor, as she's loaded up the count with this one. Quite a bit of pressure on her right now in this pitch. Fires one over the top, and Moananu will hit the first base on the walk. Now Wellington with runners on the corners are into the bottom of their order. Number 15, Evie Gibbs. She's a left-hander. Actually bats pretty good for a number 9 hitter.
Well, she plays a very nice slapping game, and so she's going to cause a little bit of chaos, I think, here, especially with runners on 1 and 3, and the potential to put the ball down onto the ground.
That one gets away from the pitcher as it hits the dirt. Nicely taken by the catcher. And Wellington now have runners at a 2 and 3.
With 2 down, she's still going to be a difficult out to get. She's really got speed to boot.
Yes, and of course being left-hander, she's a good meter in front of a head start on a right-handed batter. She has to go as that pitch as it disappears away from the zone.
That's right. All 1 straight too. Thought I'd lost one somewhere in there. It's going to be tough.
There we see he's got a running slap there. She makes it, as you say, Naomi, all the way to 1, and Wellington open their account in this one with 2 out there in the second innings, and now lead the ball game by 1-0 over North Harbour, and that was pretty well executed.
Yes, it was beautifully executed, and she was, as I said, she was always going to be a tough out, and they really needed to charge aggressively and quickly and throw hard on that one to get the 3rd out. They needed to retire their innings.
Well, the danger's not over for North Harbour because they've got Wellington have got runners on the corner, and they're back to the top of the order as we see Gibbs move over to second base, and that means that Mairangi Waipara, probably one of the stronger batters in their order, is up to bat.
What a great one to lead into this innings with.
She's the catcher for Wellington and could quite easily come in and hit in the clean-up position as well. Wellington use her as their lead-off hitter. Two balls, no strikes. And
Whoa,
there's a hard hit out to left field. It's going to go all the way out to the left field fence. There's 1 run come in, and there's 2 runs come in. And we just mentioned how dangerous Waipara was going to be with the bat, and that's an excellent piece of hitting to help herself to 2 RBIs.
Yeah, well done, Mairangi, and it's not the first time we've seen her do it today. And, the perfect hitter to have in the batter's box when you've got runners on. So she's going to come out. They're going to play in the 2-down catcher rule, the run replacement rule. And one of the earlier runners will go back out and run again for her.
Very valuable at-bat for Wellington, Mairangi, but she'll be replaced out there by Gibbs as the runner. And that will bring to bat JL Tamarama, number 17, who was the strikeout for Taylor in the first innings.
The danger's not over yet for North Harbour. We know that the young runner on second base has got speed to boot, so anything that clears the infield means that she'll be running for the plate, I'm sure. Yeah,
well, the first and the top half of the second innings went by in such a blink of an eye. And there you see a steal, and the throw was right on the button, but you talked about her speed. Well, Eva Gibbs showed a clean pair of heels, safe at third base.
Yeah. Nice aggressive base running there by Wellington. They will want to keep that momentum shift going that we were talking about earlier, Gary. Once you get momentum, you want to keep building on it.
Well, a lot of the girls throughout this tournament, career-wise, will be turning their career eyes towards the probably the junior White Sox selections, I suppose. Those that think they're going to be good enough. Naomi, is that probably the career path for them in the near future?
That's right, and it's. I understand that the New Zealand Junior White Sox squad will be looking to send 2 teams to the States. So that's 30 players or 30 plus players that will be given the opportunity to go and play top softball in the States. So yeah, that's a lot of players of this age here. So yeah. And we know that national selector Kitty Shaw and Dave Elder are here on the outfield fence watching what's happening. So any great performances will surely be noted.
Absolutely. It's 2 teams and that many players to be exposed to that level of softball is probably a level of softball at this age grade that, to be perfectly honest, they wouldn't get in New Zealand.
No, they don't. And in a previous year, a couple of years ago, I took a team to the States. Kitty and I did to play in 16 under tournaments, and most of the teams that we played against were of a
real eye-opener, isn't it?
Yeah, a real eye-opener, and great for our girls to see what the standard looks like.
And not just that, we talked about it before, the competitiveness in that environment.
Yeah.
They've got the numbers, obviously, in places like the United States, Japan probably as well, to really, make these girls realise that if they're not playing well, there's someone behind them ready to take their spot. And it's something that really does push their softball to a new level.
I think
another level.
Yeah, that's right. And I think from a positive view, there are more teams playing this competition than we've seen before. So things are looking up. The more competition we've got, the better it's going to be.
That's essentially the point, isn't it? As we see the pop fly to second base, and that is the third out here in the Wellington innings. They have helped themselves to 3 runs here in the second innings. So we've got 2 innings complete now. Wellington leading the ball game by 3 runs to 0. Over North Harbour, we'll be back with more action in just a minute. Ballpark, where Final 1 action in the Under-17 Girls Tournament National Championship sees Wellington leading North Harbour, as we see North Harbour lead off with a pop fly out to right field. Talia Hurley, that would have been, as the first out. On the graphics here, you see Wellington's defensive lineup. We'll quickly go through that for you. We've got Sapelli, Tamarama, and Moananu in the outfield. Tolava'a, Tyler Bull, Siobhan Bolger, and Gibbs. In the infield, pitching is Tyler Pitakani to number 27, Mairangi Waipara, who's doing the catching behind the dish. For North Harbour, there's their complete order. In batting, number Abigail Church leads off to Elizabeth Caldwell, Jamie Hawani, followed by Pittams, Reebok Sami, Lucy Espinal, Hurley, Tuhu Huda, and Seymour round out that batting order. As we see a fly ball from Brian Tuhuda. Number 9 for North Harbour, 1 down already here. 2 innings complete, Wellington leading by 3-0. It's a handy lead this early in the ball game, Naomi. There's a nice hit and a beautiful backhanded field by the second baseman out there, Bolger. Very talented softballer, and she proves it by making that difficult play look easy. Number 11, Rory Seymour, up to bat for North Harbour. Sees the first pitch go past for a strike. Well, umpire-wise, we've got Jenny Smith behind the dish down there. We did have Tony Kairuna out there, but he has been replaced. And I'm sorry I haven't got the gentleman's name for you, but out there roving on the bases. Yep, certainly very much senior umpire in operation in New Zealand at the moment. Senior umpire of a group of very good umpires we do have in this country, very well served. Dave Beaumont. Thank you very much on the graphic on the screen, as you can see there, ladies and gentlemen. And Rory Seymour helps herself to the walk, is safe at first base. Number 7, Abigail Church. Top of the order for North Harbour will be looking to get themselves going in reply to Wellington, which was actually a 2-out rally Wellington had before they scored those 3 runs. So well done for them. And it's now North Harbour's turn. Tyler Pitakani throws with a little bit of velocity, certainly a little bit more than the North Harbour pitcher Taylor does, who seems to rely on hitting his spots. Was doing that very well until Wellington climbed into some nice at-bats. Yeah. We saw her take 6 strikeouts before making way for Jessica Whiteout in that game, who came on and filled in very well, as we saw Counties got their tails up and looked like they were going to try and mount a bit of a comeback. As we see that pitch go past on the walk. And now North Harbour are launching their own 2-out rally. Runners at 1 and 2. Elizabeth Caldwell up to bat now. Yep. Stevie Manson out there, haven't seen him in Wellington softball for a little while. He's been learning his coaching trade in Europe for the last couple of years. And good to see him back in Wellington and passing it on. Netherlands, yep. And of course our New Zealand men going offshore to get their coaching skills upgraded, I suppose you would call it, in what are some pretty professional environments away overseas. Nice one, and there we see nice catch by the Wellington catcher there, Mairangi Waipara, to end the innings for North Harbour in this one, and that is the top of the third. Finished there, no score by North Harbour. They did get a couple of runners on base. Wellington will come out with in the next half of the innings, leading the ball game by 3-0 over the North Harbour. We'll be back for more action in just a minute.
100.9 and 94.9.
When the radio's on and the sound's hot, you just have to enjoy. There's no way to stop. That's where it sounds like the best every day of the week. Better than all the rest. We let the music speak. All the best throwbacks, 90s and more. All the best throwbacks.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. There you see a lovely shot of the Diamond 2 action down there. You've got Canberra Counties taking on Auckland. We haven't had an update of their score at the moment. Hopefully we will at some stage during the thing. And it also gives us a shot of course, the Wellington Football Club behind them. The old club rooms of the Wellington rugby team. One of my old clubs, actually. Up to bat in this one on Diamond 1, however, we've got number 45, Tyler Pitakani, pitcher for Wellington, as we're into the bottom of the third innings, with Wellington leading the ball game by 3-0 over North Harbour. Jessica Taylor continues to go to work out there. She's pitching in to Jamie Hoani. Just having a little bit of trouble in the last innings and a half trying to find her zone, Taylor. She's not throwing with great velocity, but she does rely on just hitting those spots.
Yeah, when pitchers go deep in the count, they're having to, it's a real struggle to have to come back.
Yeah.
Especially when you're pitching so many more balls than the other pitcher.
Yeah, and the Wellington batters are liking it because they're seeing more of it, and we're seeing them deep in counts swing at the strikes and making some good contact.
Good to see she's able to come back with that strike that's needed.
Puts one down the outside of the plate there for a strike. 3 balls and 1 strike on Pitakani in this one. And the sun continues to shine. We've got a very good spattering of crowd right around the ground. We're getting a little bit later on in the day now. It's 20 past 4. But certainly from about lunchtime to 3 o'clock there was a great crowd in attendance here. Old Pitakani earned the walk. She's down there on first base. At the bat, number 16 is Siobhan Bolger.
May have been a hit pitch.
Oh, did that hit her?
Yeah, but she might have sort of moved slightly in front of it.
Yeah. We've seen a couple of those calls today.
Yeah. I'd be giving a ball, but I wouldn't be giving her the base.
Where the batters have almost leaned into or walked into the zone to be hit by the ball. I don't know if it's deliberate or whether they're just looking to get closer to the ball to hit it. But there we see now. You can see how she's leaned in, shaped the bunt, and then very much just put her leg out.
And she didn't get away with that one.
She
was lucky it was a soft pitch.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked like it was right on the knee joint. She's lucky it wasn't a pitcher with a great bit of velocity as she's bunted one down the first baseline. The first baseman's done a good job of making sure at first it wasn't going to go out. I thought she'd taken the out there. That was very close. But the umpire out there has called her safe at first base.
Oh, that was a classic sacrifice bunt. Very well executed.
Ran
up first base. Yeah, I think the first base fielder was hoping that it would roll out. I didn't think that was going to happen.
Yep, it stayed in, and that's prompted now a conference from the Wellington coach.
It looks like North Harbour might be making a change.
Yeah. Here's just a replay of that play again, and yeah, it's lucky there's not a call on the batter for deliberately impeding the ball in the zone. There she stepped across the plate. There's that bunt. That's really nice execution there, Naomi.
Yeah, beautiful.
Just trickles it down the first base line.
Yeah. Great fundamentals, good classic softball.
Very
good
hard
to see.
To make a play on a bunt that's that accurate.
Looks like a new pitcher's coming into the field for North Harbour. I haven't got a number on her.
She didn't turn around to show us there.
Goes to show the importance of teams carrying two two reasonable pitches to get through a whole tournament, doesn't it? We've talked about that before, the need for associations to develop battery that's pitches and catches. It's so important in a tournament, a 4-day tournament.
It looked okay for Taylor. Jessica Taylor was the pitcher out there for about the first, I would say, the full complete innings. She started missing the zone, and then Wellington helped himself to a couple of hits. So things got quite tough for the young pitcher, who has now in the bottom of the third innings been replaced by number 9, who has had to come straight in from being the DP, Brian Tuhura, to pitching against Wellington at Hataitai Ballpark.
And of course we're in day 3, and in Section B there's 7 teams there, so all of these teams have played 6 games prior to this, and it's pitcher rotation's a really important thing to make sure that you've got the right pitcher at the business end of the tournament.
Yep. Of course, both of these teams looking to hang in there and be there at the business end of the tournament. Advantage to Wellington at the moment as they lead the ball game by 3-0. We're still in the early stages of this, but Brian Tahura is coming to replace Jessica Taylor on the hill. And it is Nalia Tangatauli Tolava'a up to bat for Wellington. Wellington with runners at 1 and 2, leading the ball game here 3-0 over North Harbour in the bottom of the third innings. And she fouls one back over the commentary position. There you can see our commentary position. Nice and sheltered there. There's a picture of Chopper helping himself to some food. Congratulations, Chopper. Nice of you to share the love.
We're not seeing what that food looks like here, Gary.
Yeah, no, we wouldn't have a clue. You can smell it, though. You gotcha. Well, I mean, the opportunities out there now for the Wellington coaching staff, Naomi, there's an abundance of them, isn't there?
Oh, yeah, with runners on 1 and 2 and none down.
Yeah.
And they've already got a 3-run lead, and it's never enough at this type of tournament, so they'll be wanting to build on that.
I mean, even if you're looking, I mean, obviously, if Wellington do go on and win, then there's sometime later on to today or tomorrow, runs for and against could happen. And
yes.
The more you can put on there, the more it's in your favour.
I've been involved in many a tournament where placings have come down to, that's a great hit.
Another hard hit by Wellington batting. And they seem to favour that left field line. It's gone all the way down the third base line to the fence. It scored both runners out there, and Wellington just underlying their strength in this tournament now with the batting. Now lead the ball game over North Harbour by 5-0.
That was a great hit down the left field line. Really strong hitting.
Really strong hitting, and the batter standing up there safe at second base. Tolava'a did a fantastic job of scoring both Pitakoni and Bolger. Bringing to bat now number 19, Tyler Bull, who is the Wellington third base.
They're still in a scoring position with runner on 2. One hit into the outfield, and that's another run that will run in.
That's right, it doesn't get any easier for North Harbour.
No, it doesn't.
Because there is still a runner out there, and there are none out.
I might have lost the count on this batter, but we'll see what comes up. At the moment, I've got a loaded count. So obviously that wasn't right. I'm a little bit old-fashioned and wait for the old umpires to put their fingers up.
And make sure
that we agree.
We agree.
I do know we've got 3 balls. I'm not sure about the 2 strikes. You're right, there's no strikes. So it must have been left there from a previous batter. She's picked the walk. And there's a stolen base down.
And taking the opportunity to steal the base. Tolava'a moves down to third. Tyler Boyle out to first. Wellington with runners on the corners to bat now as number. Wellington are already, making the advantage they've got in this innings pay, but this is just beginning to turn the screws on the ball game for them now, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think given the workload, I think they'll be looking to get a mercy game. An early game would be really useful for them, especially as the next game is the winner of this game plays back-to-back against the winner of either Auckland or Counties Manukau. So that would be a big advantage if they can actually have a little bit of time to rest before the before the 5 o'clock.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, an exhausting, close, tight game. Whilst it would be fantastic for those watching and to see, is probably not exactly what Wellington want, or North Harbour, whichever team ends up winning, who goes on to face the winner of the game down on Diamond 2.
Not quite sure what the score is down there. We've got a view down there. Not quite got how many runs have crossed the plate, but I have seen Auckland runners on base a few times.
Yeah. There's a hard hit up the centre field. It's bounced in front of the centre fielder, but it is going to score another run for Wellington. Advances that lead now out to 6-0. Wellington at the moment making no run of this ball game, as that was Chelsea Moananu. I thought for a second there that with a bit more commitment might have been a catch at centre field.
Yes, I think if she'd kept coming forward on that may well have been a catch. It would definitely be below the belt and a difficult one to make. But, when you're really seeking outs and runners on base, sometimes fielders just got to take their chances.
Well, you are hitting the ball into the teeth of that solely, and it just tends to hold it up for that fraction of a moment longer. It could possibly give you a chance to get a glove under it. But the upshot of it is that Wellington tend to look to keep putting the pain on North Harbour in this inning. They've now scored 3 runs to match the 3 they scored in the second innings. As we see it hit back to the pitcher. And there's an error from North Harbour that they can't afford. First base drops it on a regulation out.
Yeah, they needed that out.
And that means that Wellington with none out, they've scored another run, now lead the ball game by 7-0. Not quite sure what's happened there. The runner at first base has been called out.
Not quite sure what that was.
What's your take on that one?
Not quite sure of that
transfer?
One. I might have considered that she held it long enough.
Yes, well, there we go.
Like clutching at straws a little bit.
We might have got
actually.
a replay of that last.
So there's one down. I better put that up. Yeah.
If we could put that up, would be fantastic. Here we go. Just have a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Fires it across the one. She catches it, and then that looks like maybe a transfer.
Yeah, it looks like she may have lost it in the transfer.
Yeah. So that's why the batter's out.
Yeah, the batter's still out. Yeah. I'm not sure I agree with that, but...
yes, it was a very, very quick call if that's what it was, which is really all it could be. Here we see a pass ball now, and the Wellington runner's coming in and given out.
I'm not sure we're going to see a replay on that. It was a pretty close play at the plate, but here we go.
It was close at the plate. I did think she got in there. The catcher seemed to hesitate to lay the actual tag on, and the Blues certainly not going to change their mind as we see this angle might be a little bit better, but I'm going to go with you'll see it for yourself there. Well, it's a bang-bang play, isn't it?
Yes, it is a bang-bang play, and they're closer to the action than we are.
They are. So Jenny Smith's the blue down there. She had to make the decision, and she made it very quickly, very early. And there's Wellington with the runner safe at 1. Mairangi Waipara it is. So 2 down. And Waipara beats out that throw. She's safe there. A lot is happening in the last minute or two in this ball game. JL Tamarama up to bat for Wellington now. It is Wellington that lead the ball game by 7-0. Is what I make it. And Tamarama up to bat. 2 down.
2 down catcher rule being invoked.
So that'll bring the previous out, which was, in this case, they've sent Gibbs out. I thought Chelsea Morinoni was the last out of home. And you see a steal straight off the bat.
Straight off the bat.
And
Great.
Wellington being very aggressive in this innings. Very aggressive. Nice pitch for a strike. Tuhura seems to bring a little bit more velocity to her pitching than we saw with young Jessica Taylor. Wellington do seem to be liking it, however. The batters finding the ball with regularity. Fly for a foul ball. Back over the fence.
Wellington seem to pick it up a little bit with a 2 down rally, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're able to score their runs with 2 down.
We did it in the second innings as well. That's right. They had 2 down. We see a hit out to second base. Nicely fielded out there by the second baseman Seymour. To end the innings for Wellington, who scored 4 runs in that innings. Now lead this ball game over North Harbour by 7-0. We'll see what happens when we come back in just a minute. Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Hataitai Ballpark as we show you a nice picture of the Hutt Valley team warming up in the outfield, and looks like Canterbury out in the background there also warming up, and a lovely shot of the crowd here at Hataitai Ballpark, where we have Wellington currently making no run of this ball game against North Harbour and executing their plays very well to lead North Harbour going into the 4th innings by 7-0. It is North Harbour who have to respond, and they're up to bat right now. And that means that their lead-off hitter in this one will be number 2, Jamie Hawani. Oh, Naomi Wellington Their execution, I think, has been a feature in this one, with not just with their power hitting, but also with their bunting.
Oh, it's their power hitting that's made the difference. Multiple base hits here, but they've also had, the single base hits to get runners on to score the runs that they needed. 7 runs is a pretty tidy lead to have at this stage of the game. But, as we know, that can change pretty quickly. And it will be good to see North Harbour come back into the game and make it a bit of a challenge right through to the end.
Well, it is North Harbour who need to make some changes. And we've got Jamie Hawani up to bat, but following her, it looks like it will be number 32, Alicia Rhodes, who will be pinch hitting for Paige Pittams. Oh, Pitakani continues to go to work for Wellington. Throws that one into the dirt. She's pitched better than that today.
And of course, I think in the back of the mind of the head coach for Wellington, Philippa Ward, will be the fact that they are playing back-to-back. So how long do you let Taylor Pitakani run? Is she going to be your starting pitcher for the next game?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Will they bring Jessie Wairoa in fresh for that game?
Yeah, well, questions that need to be answered by coaches, and that's part of the job they do.
Well, it's thinking on your feet, especially when you're playing back-to-back here. And whoever they're facing over there, Candice Manukau or Auckland, are going to be really tough opposition.
Of course, they may already have a plan, as we see a pop fly on the infield, comfortably taken out there by Siobhan Bolger at second base for the first out here in the top of the 4th innings. Well, of course, Wellington, as you mentioned before, will be looking to win a game on the run-ahead rule. At the moment, they're 7 runs up, so which means should North Harbour score no runs between now and the 5th innings, then this game will end early. However, North Harbour may have something else to say about that, and you never count a team out until the last pitch is pitched.
Oh, it can change so very quickly.
My co-commentator has told me on more than one occasion.
It can change so very quickly, especially at national age grade level.
Yes, it can.
You can be sitting quite safely with 7 runs, and then it all turns to custard quite quickly.
However, we are seeing the powerhouses, so to speak, the large associations in New Zealand beginning to emerge as we head to the final day tomorrow. Obviously, you've mentioned Hutt Valley as being one of the favoured teams. Obviously, Canterbury. We're also hearing names like Auckland mentioned, of course, and Wellington. So those 4 alone, with other teams trying to get in there, is very much the 4 biggest associations in the country. So that's where we're sort of heading at the moment, as we see Tyler Pitakani take a strikeout for the second out here in the 4th innings.
And because of COVID, we haven't really seen each other play. So, we've seen a lot of players that we're not really, don't really know that much about.
Yes, and we talked about it before, because there's a whole new group of girls who have come through. I mean, Naomi, you and I know who our local girls are, although I'm probably less familiar with the Hutt Valley girls. But most of the Wellington girls I have heard of before. But certainly in the other associations, there's a whole new gang, and good to see as well.
Yeah, that's right. What I did do last year was travelled with the Saints team to play in the Easter Classic last year.
Yep.
And that was a Northern Region representative tournament played once the Softball New Zealand Under-17 tournament was abandoned. The Auckland Softball Association picked up the running of the tournament. And Saints as a club winning the tournament, even though we were a club team. Ooh.
Nice. There we go. Very nearly a collision out there, but the catch was made by Tangatauli Tolava'a in the end, the shortstop, and Wellington in the top of the 4th innings with 3 down in this one, and North Harbour unable to score. Wellington continue to lead the ball game by 7-0 over North Harbour. We'll be back to see what happens in just a minute with more action. And we're back, and there we go. Coach Steve White here on first base for Wellington. Looking at proceedings as North Harbour get underway in this one. They trail Wellington by 7-0 here in Diamond 1 action at Hataitai Ballpark. And Wellington have looked every bit the winners of this ball game at the moment. It's not finished yet, as we see a nice hit out to right field by Jessica Whiteow. As she goes and tries to take 2 bases. She has a 1 base way too far. She got tagged out a good 2 metres in front of the base. And a nice bit of execution there by the North Harbour field to take her out.
Yeah, they had to make a really good play, throw and tag out play to get her out. There was no stopping Jessica at first base. She was going down to 2. She's got this multiple base thing in her head and her legs. She's not stopping there. And, with 7 runs up, it's not the end of the world, is it?
It's not the end of the world, but I'm not sure if you've got a coach down there going, stop, or go. But certainly Philippa and Steve have been very aggressive, and especially in the last innings and obviously the beginning of this innings. And are we looking at a change there for Wellington?
And North Harbour catcher having a wee bit of a rest there. Not quite a good look. I'd imagine doing that if it was my age, but we're at an under-17 tournament.
Yep. There we go. She picked up. She knew where that ball was going. You see in the replay. And there's the tag made.
Yeah.
A good couple of metres out off the base. Quite dramatic.
Yeah. Nice out by North Harbour.
We'll get a number, we'll see who the hitter is. I think it's number 49, Maggie Olberg, for Wellington. It is indeed. Sometimes their long ponytails can preclude us giving the identification.
That's right, and the helmets don't help either. We can't see who they are under the helmets.
But she's come in to pinch hit for the pitcher, Pitakani. As you've already mentioned, it's just trying to give the pitcher a bit of rest now. It doesn't have to come out and bat. See a hit by Olberg. Out to shortstop. It beats the shortstop. Can't get a glove on it all the way to centre field. And that's a good way to come in and pinch hit for your team.
And it's not the first time she's done that today. In the earlier game, she came up for a pinch hit, delivered, and then she was replaced, which effectively took her out of the game. She's been brought in for a pinch hit again and done a job. So that's fantastic hitting.
And just what we were talking about with coaches using their options. There's another hit straight through shortstop this time. It is Siobhan Bolger, who has been a little bit of a standout in this ball game with her play at second and also her batting.
It was really well hit. And shortstop sat back on that little one. Had she moved forward, she might have just cut it down a little bit, made it a bit easier to play.
Yes.
The importance
just
of
caught on the heels a little bit. You got for all those young shortstops out there, better to be on your toes.
Yes, moving forward all the time.
Moving forward, yep. Nice job by the catch to keep that one in front of her. Doesn't give up any free bases on that pitch that found its way into the dirt. We've got Tolava, Tangatoli Tolava, who's batted very strongly in this ball game. Goes at a high pitch. Just continues that aggression that the Wellington team have showed since the first innings. And has got them 7 runs in this ball game so far. Two RBIs in the last at bat for Tolavara as she put one out to the fence, and what was for her a stand-up double. But she's taken the walk this time, and that loads up the bases for Wellington with only one down. Only one down, and now number 19. Tyler Ball up to bat for Wellington. And this is insurance time, because it will be 3 for the ball game after this innings. This time the shortstop makes it look good as she picks that one up, flicks it to third base, takes the lead-off runner, and Wellington now 2 down. Was that the lead runner, or did we score a run?
No, a run came across the plate.
Yes.
Shortstop took a lead runner at third base.
At third base.
So that was a force out there. It may have been the only option that she had on that particular play.
Wellington
So
do move ahead a little bit further to 8-0. Two down now as that ball goes past the catcher. Wellington now with runners at 2 and 3. And Moanonu up to bat for Wellington as that one hits the dirt. This one's gone past the catcher once again. The pitcher just losing her control in the last couple of pitches. Gives up another run. Wellington 9-0. I did think this game was going to be a little bit closer than this going into the beginning, Naomi.
Yes, I did, but full credit to Wellington. They've continued the onslaught of pretty strong hitting and good defence. So, that will lead them in well to the 5 o'clock game, assuming they get through the next innings with 3 up, 3 down.
It certainly will, and definitely will. They as a game where they want to probably assert themselves as also being one of the forces in this tournament. Of course, being here at Hataitai Ballpark, this is Wellington's home tournament. Oh, and there's a nice catch.
Oh, well done.
No need to lay the tag
No.
because the third out was already made,
Yeah.
but she did it anyway. It's a nice way to get out of that one by North Harbour, but the damage was done as Wellington helped themselves to another couple of runs and a lead of 9-0 over North Harbour. Let's see what North Harbour can do, because they have to score a few runs to keep the ball game going. We'll be back in just a minute. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're at Hataitai Ballpark as we show you a picture of Damien Collins getting ready for the next ball game. And we pan back out to Diamond 1 with Wellington taking on North Harbour. We're in the top of the 5th innings. Wellington enjoying a lead of 9 runs to 0 over North Harbour. And it is the run ahead rule in effect. 3 outs for the ball game, Naomi.
Yeah. I don't expect Wellington to be soft on North Harbour at all. They want to get those 3 outs in this inning so they can have a little bit of a break, a little bit of a rest for the next game. I have seen Auckland cross the plate against Counties Manukau, but I'm not sure what the actual score is. But that's going to be a really key game for the winners of this game. At the moment, looking like Wellington.
Certainly looking at the pre-game antics going on down on that diamond with what looked like a dance-off between the two teams. It is a little bit of a mate against mate down there by the look of it.
Oh, they know each other well.
Yes, certainly the two teams, once the game started, that went out the door. So they've been going at it down there on Diamond 2.
And of course, Counties Manukau have been travelling through the Auckland Softball Association to get the games that they need to, develop further. So, yeah, they'll be very familiar with each other. But anyway, let's get this game finished here on Diamond 1.
2 balls, 2 strikes here on the North Harbour batter, which is number 12, Talia Hurley, who strikes out. Tyler Pitakani, once again impressive in this ball game. And throughout the day, with jitters in the early morning game, has been getting stronger and stronger.
I think we both commented about that, Gary, that Tyler does seem to have a little bit of a slow start, and she actually gets stronger as the game progresses.
Very much, she has quite a long pause before she gets into it. Almost like she's sort of mentally adjusting to, I'm about to pitch and what am I going to, and she knows what she's going to throw, but just seems to set herself a little bit longer than some of the other pitchers.
Yeah. It's really good for a pitcher to develop a routine that they're comfortable and familiar with.
Yep, the ball goes straight back to her this time off the bat. She turns around and very capably throws the runner out at first base. You're right, Wellington going for the outs very early, and already 2 outs in about 3 pitches. Well, more than that, because she took a strikeout in the first one. Rory Seymour up to bat for North Harbour. And she comes in as the 9 pitcher. There's a nice pitch down and out. Swung out for a strike. Well, 2 early finishes, and there's the prospect of an early finish here. They've just about got Diamond 1 back on time. And there we see Canterbury players milling about just outside Diamond 1. I'm not sure which diamonds the allocations are for the next game.
I'd say that it's a good bet that Hutt Valley and Canterbury are going to be playing here on Diamond 1.
Yes. With Canterbury milling around behind the third base dugout, I would say, and Hutt Valley heading towards the first base dugout. I'd say it's Wellington who are heading down to Diamond 2 to play whoever is the winner of the game down there. Very, very interesting game in prospect. As we see the strikeout delivered by Pitakani for the 3rd out here in the top of the 5th innings, that will do it for this ball game, ladies and gentlemen, and one in which promised a little bit more than it delivered, as Wellington have mercied North Harbour in this one in the 5th innings by 9 runs to 0. Naomi, quite a performance by Wellington in this one.
Oh, a very dominant performance too as well, and I was very pleased to see Wellington, really put the pedal to the metal right from the start, and they never let off at all. So that was a great performance, and we both commented it was a little bit surprising that the score ran out as it did, but that's because Wellington took the ball game to them. So congratulations, Wellington.
Congratulations, Wellington, to this one. They'll move on in the double header to play the winner of the Diamond 2 game down there. Up next, we've got a very interesting game in prospect in Canterbury and Hutt Valley. Naomi, for you, a standout player in this one?
Oh, I was just looking there at the stats, and there's some pretty impressive ones, both from the Wellington's middle infielders. But I think I'll go with Nalia, and I'm going to struggle with this one, Nalia Tangai Toli Taulotva at shortstop, who scored 3 of Wellington's 9 runs, played consistently at shortstop, and so she's my player of the game for this one.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, Ballpark Broadcasting player of the game, Nalia Tangatoli Tolova, batted very powerfully, as did a number of the Wellington girls. Made no run of it in the end against North Harbour, and they run out winners by 9 runs to 0. For me, Gary Rahi and Ballpark Broadcasting, Naomi Shaw, my colour commentator, and Adrian Royal running the board on this one. We're finished, and we'll be eagerly anticipating the next ball game. But for now, we'll say goodbye. Thank you very much.
Kia ora.